Right, so we're going to talk about linear relations. So in the last section, we talked about what is a function, what is not a function. Now we're going to talk about what makes something linear and not linear, okay? So a linear relation, basically this is, it's made of the word line, right? So that's how you know that a linear relation, when you graph it, gives you a straight line, right? Line linear. Now, linear relations can have only addition and subtraction between the variables, right? So this is what they cannot have. No powers of the variables other than one, no square roots of variables, no variables in the denominator, no products of variables, right? So all of these here in the first column, these are all linear equations, right? Look at the variables. In each of them, you have x to the 1, y to the 1, right? That's all. You don't have any exponents for the variables other than 1. And you don't have any variables in the denominator. You don't have any variables multiplied with each other. So these are all linear relations or equations. The next ones, these are non-linear equations. So why do you think the first one is non-linear? Because of the what? Yeah. The power of 2, right? You have a variable to the power of 2. Why is the next one non-linear? Because it's a square root of a variable. Like if you had root 3 in there, that would be okay. You just can't have root x. What about the next one? Because x times y, right? You can't have x times y. What about the next one? The 1 over x. You can't have an x in the denominator, right? So none of those are linear. Okay, so let's take a look here. Is A linear? Yes. What about B? Yes. What about C? No. What about D? No. Okay? All right. Let's talk about intercepts. Right? An intercept is basically where a graph crosses one of the axes. The x-intercept is the location where a graph crosses the x-axis, right? So take a look here. This right here is the x-intercept. This is where it crosses the x-axis. What are the coordinates of that point? Here. X is what? 4. X is 4. What's y? 6. Y? No, for this one. 0. For this one, y is 0. So that coordinate point is 4, 0, right? At the x-intercept, just look at the x-intercept. At that green dot, the x-intercept, the y value has to be 0. Okay? So y coordinate is 0. Okay, next one. This is the y-intercept. What are the coordinates there? What's x over there? 0. What's y? 6, right? So over there at the y-intercept, the x coordinate is 0. And that's how we find intercepts, right? Okay. So let's go over here and let's find the x-intercept and the y-intercept of that point. So here's what you do. For the x-intercept, you have to set y equal to 0, or you have to replace y with 0. Right? So here's how that works. Negative 2x minus 0 minus 4 equals 0. Right? Do you see how everything is the same except I put a 0 instead of the y? Okay, so now that goes away, right? So I have negative 2x minus 4 equal to 0. Add 4 to both sides. Negative 2x equals 4. X equals negative 2. But the way we're going to write it is this, negative 2, 0. So this is the x-intercept, yeah? it goes in the place of the x value, and then the other one's going to be 0. Okay, next one. Let's find the y-intercept. For the y-intercept, we're going to replace x with 0. So it's going to be negative 2 times 0 minus y minus 4 equal to 0. What happens to the 2 and the 0? They go away, so you have negative y minus 4 equals 0. Add 4, add 4. Negative y equals 4. What's y? Y is negative 4. So here when I write it, it's going to go 0, negative 4. Right? This is the y-intercept. It goes in the place of the y, and the other number just becomes 0. Okay? Now, let's graph these. 0, negative 4 is here. Negative 2, 0 is here. Right? And then you just have to draw a line in between. That looks like this. Okay? Any other questions?
You like 2 points if it's not like the previous shape.
So you can use a ruler. All right. So here, let's find the x-intercept. Set y, make y 0. So that's going to be 0 equals half x plus 5. Yeah? What am I going to do now? Minus 5, minus 5. Negative 5 equals half x. Multiply by 2. So x is negative 10. But the way I write it, negative 10 comma 0. Okay, let's do y-intercept. We're going to make x 0 this time. So it's going to be y equals half times 0 plus 5. And so what happens there? Right? So y equals just 5. Easy.
Why would it not be negative 5?
There is no negative there because it's just half times 0. They go away and then you just
You're
have...
not going to minus 5 minus
You're not going to know because y is already alone. So you don't have to... Okay, so 0, comma 5. So here's 0, 5. And negative 10, 0. And it looks... Whoops. Like this. All right? Okay. So you have to remember then, the first step is to set one of the variables to 0. And then your final answer, it has to be in this format. Okay? So now there is some independent practice here. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. You're going to do A, B, C, and D on the next page. 4 of them. So find x-intercept, y-intercept, graph. All right? Go. For A, yeah.
In our homework, it was for algebra.
I forgot to change. I used the format, but then I forgot to change it. What did we get for A, for x-intercept? What comma 0? Negative 3 comma 0, and then for B, for y-intercept? 0 comma 3 over 2, right? You get 0, 3 over 2, and then you can change the 3 over 2 to 1.5, and then, you know, that's how you graph it over there, okay? All right, what about for B? What's x-intercept? What comma 0? Negative 4 comma 0, and then what's the y-intercept? 0 comma 4, right? 0 comma 4. All right. What about for C? What did we get for x-intercept? Negative 4 comma 0. What did you guys get for y-intercept? Yeah, for 0, comma 2. So negative 4, comma 0, 0, comma 2. Okay. And then the last one. Ella, did you get to do the last one?
Mm-hmm.
What did you get?
For the x set, I got 8, 0.
Uh-huh.
And the y got 0.
Exactly. 8, comma 0, 0, comma 6. Now, so you have to make sure that for each of them, you physically replace one of the numbers with a 0. Okay? And then that'll only leave one other variable, and you can solve for that variable. All right? Okay, so the homework is another worksheet for this one.